I'm so bummed. I'm glad to have you here, and they're glad to have you here, sort of, but I was so excited to hear Rob's answer to that question. It's such a bummer. Maybe next time, you know what I'm saying? Misha, have you enjoyed yourself in Nashville, Tennessee? This is my hometown, you know.
I have. I went out for ribs last night.
Awesome.
And I still, I'm like, oh, it's an intense cuisine.
It is.
That your people consume.
We had a big, I took a busload of Supernatural fans on a tour of Nashville with my dad. So it was the double dig tour of Nashville, and we did my dad knows all things South. And we went and had lunch at a place that we love called Loveless Cafe, a landmark joint. And I tell you, after you eat lunch, anywhere, anytime in the South, especially like gives it Southern food,
you need to go take a nap.
We were crawling back onto the bus. We could not physically move.
You gotta go sit on the toilet, you gotta go take a nap, and then get your stomach pumped.
It is not a light meal. It is not like the one time I was here years ago, and I haven't done this since, I ate at a Waffle House. Has anybody eaten at a Waffle House? Piece of advice, if you haven't eaten at a Waffle House recently, Misha, note to you, if you do go to a Waffle House, go ahead and eat it while sitting on the can. Because it's going to make a beeline for the brown door, if you know what I'm saying. That stuff is brutal. That stuff is brutal. There's nothing right about anything.
I think Waffle House is going to be rescinding their spokesman offer.
Hey, listen, if they want to take me out, just send me a sample. I mean, it'll just...
Waffle House, eat it on the can.
And on that unsavory note, ladies and gentlemen, Misha Collins.
How many of you work at Waffle House? Quite a few, right? How is everyone? That just took a creepy turn.
I love you.
I love you! And when I'm done with you, I'm gonna eat your body parts. So sweet, so sweet. Speaking of the brown door, I was eating breakfast. We have some weird family rituals. To share or not to share. So my daughter has a thing where she likes to give some sort of when she wants. I don't know how else to say this. When she wants to be wiped, she used to say, "Wipe me, but generally speaking, her parents are distracted and not paying attention, and they don't hear her. And so she's essentially crying, calling out helplessly for somebody to wipe them, and nobody ever comes. So she started implementing a new system whereby she was going to give a different signal when it was time. Like she was going to scratch on the door. Since you don't hear me when I say wipe me at a screaming decibel level, I'm gonna scratch on the door. And then I explained, actually that's pretty hard to hear too, so maybe we should come up with a different thing. And so she got, those little, I don't know what they're called, they're like the little, jingle bells, like little tiny silver things that have a little ball inside that,
they're bear bells.
Don't look at me like that.
I always look at you like that.
That a belly dancer might have on there, right? Like one of these tiny little bells, and she's ringing that. Also, we came to the conclusion not effective, and then, so then she's like, I'm just gonna whistle, which is great, except for her whistle is. So I'm always on edge, just listening to weird sort of this, basically I guess the sounds that you would expect a squirrel in the walls to make. And that's to be white. And I was having breakfast with West, and Mason was in the bathroom, and she said, West, again, I'm actually thinking, should I talk? I shouldn't talk about this. Later on, my kids are going to be like, you know what my asshole dad did? Talk about our bathroom experience. But anyway, she said, West, come look, my poop looks like a penis. And he was totally not phased, and he said, no, I've seen that before. And then, maybe 30 seconds later, she said, West, come look, my poop looks like a vagina. And he looked at me like, and then without a word, he just got up and went to take a look at what was on offer there. It's not what I expected to be talking about. Sorry. Yeah. Breakfast with the kid. We were just talking about podcasts, and you remember that podcast Serial? It was very famous. Everybody listened to Serial. Well, then I thought it would be funny to do a podcast called Serial, but spelled different. I can't remember which spelling is the right spelling, but mine was like breakfast cereal. And how is that spelled? C. Yeah. Okay. So, and it was just I was like, I'm doing a cereal broadcast, but I spelled it, cereal, like breakfast cereal, and then it was just me. I just recorded a typical morning breakfast with cereal, and I took a couple of pictures to document the podcast, like just to be the freeze frame that went with like the podcast online. And then a few days later, I was just editing it because it was really long and super boring. And I grabbed, and then I was like, oh right, and I took some photos too. I'll bring those photos, I'll import those photos now. And I went through my photos, and I had taken like 3 photos, one of which was my son stepping up onto his chair with one foot, and his bare foot in his sister's cereal bowl. And the amazing thing about that was, I had no fucking recollection of that. Like, it was just like such a commonplace sight at breakfast that I had no recollection of that. I was like, Jesus, that happened? I live with animals, absolute animals. Which is true. We maintain sort of ironclad authority, which the children just ruthlessly flout. They never ever listen to anything that we say. So we just say it anyway, which is what all the parenting books say to do. I've never read a parenting book. Would you like to go first? You're shaking your head emphatically. So yes, go ahead.
Okay. So my question is, do you have any advice for someone who is kind of weird that finds it hard to make friends really easily?
Do I have advice for people someone who's kind of weird has a hard time making friends? Oh, okay.
I tried that.
You tried that, it didn't work? Someone said, do gishwiz. How many of you guys have done gishwiz? Nice. How many of you are going to do it again? Yes. So those are all weird people that might be your friends. That was sound advice, and not a piece of advice that I would have thought of. People do often report that they have made very close friends. I think there are a few people actually who I know of in this audience who have made close friends doing gishwiz. So that's an option for you. I'm not really a great one to ask because while I do consider myself a little weird, I have no friends. So Not a great role model. Jared and Jensen are now friends. They're more like cellmates. It's just, I find myself stuck in this situation and they with me, and we just make the best of it. What? You? Are you volunteering to be my friend? She raised her hand like, yeah. Like you just get picked, like, all right, we're friends now. I'm very demanding of my friends, you should know that. You're gonna hate it. I used to, when I was a child, we moved a lot, like every year, at least once, to a new school. So I was always the new kid at school, and always trying to figure out how to fit in. And that was exacerbated by the fact that my mom liked to dress me as crazy looking as possible, and I didn't know that that was weird. I just thought, like, of course, I'm gonna wear my plastic cowboy boots and like fluorescent plaid pants to school with nail polish. So I was kind of ostracized. I was weird to start with, and then that stuff was layered on top. And then I was always the new kid at school, so I had a hard time making friends. So I don't actually have any advice, I just have empathy. It can be hard, but you know, as you get older, I think it somehow gets easier for a lot of people. No, I'm hearing people, friendless people in the audience saying, no, it doesn't. Embrace your weirdness. Oh, this is good. We're like group problem solving right now. This is no longer a panel, it's a workshop, and we are going to solve your problem. Embracing your weirdness is good advice, actually. That's a good piece of advice. That is actually good advice, because I think a lot of times people try to hide the thing about them that is strange somehow. And that is actually not a terribly attractive thing to do. But if you embrace that strangeness about yourself, then people are like, you know what, that girl is weird, but she goes with it. I like that. I want to be her friend. And then you're going to be like, I don't want to be a friend with that weirdo. And the whole cycle continues. Hi.
My question is, do you believe in the paranormal? Paranormal.
Do I do what?
Believe in the paranormal?
Do I believe in the paranormal? Yes. Do you? You do?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's
I have
nuts.
a ghost that lives
Wait, what'd you say?
I have a ghost that lives in my apartment, I swear.
Really?
Yes. One
Do
time
they
I-
pay rent? Do
No.
they like at least split the utilities with you?
No.
Freeloader ghost living with you.
Yes.
How do you know that there's a ghost?
Well, I have a fan in my room, and if you're not in the room, that fan will move. If you're in the room, it stays still. And then I had a calendar.
Wait, how do you know the fan is moving if you're not there? It's like she walks out of the room, she's like, I can tell it's moving! And then you go back and it's still, and then, okay. So I'm not yet convinced. What is your other evidence?
I had a calendar that was on the wall with
Yep.
a nail, and next thing you know, it flies off the wall and lands right next to her.
Wait, it flew off the wall?
Yes.
Was the fan on?
The heckler in the front row. The question was the fan on? Which is well played. We may have solved your ghost problem just now. Again, with the workshopping, this is good. You know, from now on, I think the panels should just be it's not a question, it's bring your problem to be solved up to the front, and we will crowdsource a solution for you. So yeah, you just have a fan, you don't have a ghost. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that for you. And you're welcome, on behalf of all of us. Hi.
Hi, spoiler for anyone who isn't caught up from 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so to my ear, that was not English. Can you say that again?
Sorry. Spoiler for those who aren't caught up from 2 weeks ago.
Oh, spoiler, yeah.
Yes. How do you feel about Cass taking initiative with Billy and solving that problem?
Interesting look you've got going on.
I love you too! That's just a little taste of what friendship with me is like. Where is that camera? That's really spooky.
It's by the lights.
We haven't really handled your question yet. On a 1 to 10 scale, how satisfying would you say this experience has been for you so far?
I'll have to process that later.
You're probably in the 1 range, 1 to 2-ish. 13. I think that the whole cosmic consequences thing is a little bit scary. Yeah. And I think that we're going to see those cosmic consequences playing out in unexpected ways toward the end of the season. We're getting toward the end of the season now, in terms of shooting. The passage of time is a sad thing. We are all marching toward the grave, but I don't want to bring us down. But I think we're going to see that play out. We are going to see it. I don't think I know.
I don't think you know
why I
either.
had to. How satisfying are you now? 8? She didn't get all the way there, but it was pretty good. Was it good for you? 8. Hi.
Hi. My question is, we see a lot of you out in public, like you're always tweeting or posting or something of you out in public. How is it that you don't just have a swarm of people behind you, like Forrest Gump, everywhere you go?
What I typically try to do is, when I'm taking selfies, I just crop those people out of the... I just quickly turn so that they're not there. But usually there's an entourage of somewhere between 40 and 60 people with me at all times. Even when I'm sleeping, they're there.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. You're very quiet and respectful while I'm sleeping, so I appreciate that. So, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but not all waking life is a fan convention. Is this news to you? Yeah. So, it's a kind of funny thing because the supernatural fandom is very, for want of a better word, insane and very intense. And so, within the fandom, it feels like very intense. But the vast majority of Americans don't watch Supernatural, and don't. I know, Americans are the worst, aren't they? So, you can, so it's, I can sort of be, you know, I'm not, I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, we get recognized a lot, but it's not like super fans everywhere. There's just, I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you go somewhere like Brazil or Moscow, it's different. Then it really is a crowd of people following you around. It's totally awesome.
I just want to snuggle.
Yeah. When I was in Moscow, there were like 200 people camped outside my hotel. My hotel had to hire extra security to deal with the supernatural events. Isn't that awesome?
It's a little creepy.
I mean, the power that I felt at that time. And Brazil was similar. Brazil was really intense too. There's a lot of, on my social media, like on Twitter, I'll see a lot of Portuguese comments, which
Say hi to Brazil.
I don't read Portuguese, but I imagine that they're saying lovely things. Yeah. So there you go. Thanks for asking that question. I love you too! Hi.
Hi, my question is, do you consider yourself to be a method actor? Why or why not?
I thought you said mega actor. Yes. No. What does method mean? What is that? Are you a method actor?
Where you like just put your emotion into it, you're completely engulfed in the character.
Yeah.
You don't separate yourself from them.
I try to separate myself from my character. Yeah. I think it'd be weird not to, especially since I have like character traits like the ability to time travel and teleport and stuff. And if you really try to get into a kind of method zone about that, you risk sort of losing your mind entirely and living under a bridge for the rest of your life. So, you know, acting in television is a funny thing because we all pretend to be really blasé about it. Like no one ever talks about their process or how they go about, you know, getting into an emotional scene or even how they learn their dialogue or anything like that. For some reason, actors always pretend that just like, I think it might be cooler, it might seem cooler just to be like, yeah, I don't know, I just do it, I just go and I say the lines and I just, you know, whatever. So we all try to keep that ruse up with each other at all times. And every once in a while, there'll be a guest star that comes on the show who is very sort of openly method or something. And we're all like, freak. And then we secretly go and do it in our trailer like a respectable person would. But it is it's an interesting thing. Even in auditions, like if you go, you know, in the audition circuit in Los Angeles, everyone tries to be really casual, as if they're not thinking about the role or getting into character at all in the like waiting room. It's for some reason it's like a part of the game that we all play. It's all a lie, but we all do it. We pretend that we're not trying at all, even though we're like sweating bullets inside. How satisfied are you right now? I like the idea of taking a customer satisfaction survey. You said 9?
Yes.
Wow, you're easy. Okay. Because I only gave you about a 4. Hi.
Hi. First, I want to tell you I admire you for everything you do and for using your power for good, both as yourself and as Cass. My question is there someone, like an actor, actress, or a musician that you'd really like to meet that you haven't got to meet, and why?
Thank you, that is very sweet of you to say. I try to tip the scales a little bit toward good more than evil in my actions. So thanks for noticing that. Well, you know, one person that I've been hoping to meet for a long time, this is gonna resonate with no one, is Bob Garfield, who is a National Public Radio personality. He does a show called On the Media, and three people know what National Public Radio is. He did this story on Nashville in the mid-90s that was actually like a life-changing experience for me listening to the story. He was in Nashville for a conference, and while he was here, he did a story on, I think the story was the title of the story was something like Bob Garfield Saves Country Music. And basically he came to Nashville and he's like, well, I'm here for the weekend anyway, I might as well record a hit country music song. And he's not a musician, nor is he a writer of songs. And he just walked into a recording studio and was like, hey, I'd love to do a hit country music song. How do I go about doing that? And by a series of totally bizarre coincidences, who the hell was it? It wasn't Johnny Cash, because he was dead. It was like the top country music singer ended up recording his song when he was done with it. And it was just an amazing story. Bob Garfield, Nashville, Google it, it's great.
What was the name of the song?
Yeah, you asked what the name of the song was? Yes, it was so, thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha.
Hi. You're doing well.
My question is, what has been the most rewarding thing that you and random acts have been able to accomplish?
Great question. I suppose there are a few things that stand out. Building the orphanage that we built in Haiti. We're in process on a building in Nicaragua right now, a school. But we built an orphanage and community center and school that is a very beautiful, very big, very well constructed building in Jacmel, Haiti. That was our first big project, and it was a real wing and a prayer, that project, where basically I had friends and coworkers who had strong relationships with a woman who was in Haiti, in Jacmel, who had been devoting her life to doing work there for a number of years. And so we knew that we had sort of a good person to work with in Haiti, but we had no idea whether this cockamamie scheme of actually building this orphanage was going to work. We had no experience with it, and no reason to think that it was going to work. And I asked people to give a lot of money, like I raised a lot of money for it, still not knowing whether it was really going to work, but promising that it would. And so it was really gratifying when it finally did work out, and worked out really kind of beautifully. And now we get Bonite, who's the woman who runs the orphanage. She's Haitian born, but she worked as a nurse for 35 years in New York and then went back to Haiti after that. She is such a lovely woman. And she calls, once every 6 weeks or something, she'll call. I'll know it's her because the caller ID will say Haiti. And she calls and she says, I'm just calling you. That's my Haitian accent. It's very similar to my Nashville accent. And she'll just shower me with like these blessings, like God bless your family, God bless you, sending you happiness. Well, not really an update on how things are going, just like this deluge of love that lasts for about 60 seconds, and then she gets bored and hangs up, and it's so sweet. But she'll also send us photos when new kids are brought into the orphanage, and that's really gratifying to see. We also did a project with Gishwas this year, where it was kind of impromptu, but Philip, who works on Gishwas with me, has a friend named Giles, who is a war photographer, and he knew of these families they're Syrian families. They were refugees living in a tent city in Lebanon, and they were in just terrible circumstances. Like the mom had been paralyzed from the neck down by a sniper bullet and hadn't left her tent in 2 years. There's a koala, this girl who at 12 years old tried to kill herself so that her siblings would have enough food to eat. They're just living in just utterly horrific circumstances. And for Gishwiz, we had an item which is donate, get someone else the item, get someone else to donate to help these families. And we thought it was going to be one family, and then overnight we raised enough for 2 families, and then 3, and then 4. And now we've got, like, we're getting photos of these families moving into their apartments and just being so happy that they have a roof over their heads and they're getting medical attention and schooling and all that. And that's a collaboration between Gishwiz and Random Acts that I'm super proud of as well. It's really, I find it immensely gratifying to see these very big, very concrete things. You know, we're not like solving any kind of endemic problem. We're just isolating, in these instances, very specific, very personal stories, and then getting to see them resolved, and that is tremendously satisfying. It gives me like a 10 on the satisfaction scale.
I have one thing to tell you.
Okay.
You make the world a better place to live in.
Very sweet of you to say. Thank you. That's very sweet. Hi.
Hi, I love your work. I admire you as an actor.
This is doing wonders for my ego. I should do this more often. Thank you.
I'm sure your ego is fine.
Yeah, you're right. It's totally overblown. I don't know what I'm talking about.
The song you were talking about was Tag You're It by Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson, that was it. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And
It's
when
about phone tag, too, that's right. It was like an idiotic concept for a country music song. It was about playing phone tag. And Willie Nelson sang.
Yes.
You gotta listen to that story, you guys.
It's a great song, too. My song for you, my song.
Sing it, sister. Let's hear it.
Anyway, Cass has played so many different personas. Which is your favorite, least favorite, and why?
I don't know. I had fun with 2 iterations of Cass. I mean, I guess probably I should say just regular Cass, my favorite Cass, because that's the political answer. But I really loved playing a version of Mark Pellegrino's Lucifer. And I also loved playing human Cass. Those were both really fun to play with. It has been quite an arc for that character. He's changed dramatically over the last decade. It's really kind of remarkable. Going back to the method acting question, it's kind of interesting to work with a. No, I don't think any actor ever expects to work on a role for that long, and it's interesting to experience it because I'm not making a whole lot of like super conscious choices about character behavior. It more feels like it's become just another facet of me somehow. I don't know if that makes sense, but a lot of it operates unconsciously now, and the changes that the character makes over time do that as well. So Castiel has changed because of the situations that he's been in and the experiences that he's had has changed over time, and a lot of those changes are just now kind of a part of this aspect of myself. It's really weird. I can like put on the trench coat and immediately just feel like Cass, and I think that the same is true of Jared and Jensen. It's just like it's like an article of clothing that we wear, and it has become really integrated into us somehow. You weren't asking about that though. The least favorite. You know what was interesting? I had a hard time with Crazy Cass, and maybe it's because that was a little too close to the bone or something. But it was an interesting process because Ben Edlund wrote that episode when he sort of became Crazy Cass, which is what we called him. And he was also directing
and we went through the most sort of bizarre seesaw of directions with it. Like, he had me doing like a version, like in the first take. We don't have a ton because it's television and things are moving fast. Major character change, but we didn't have time to rehearse it. It was just sort of like, show up on set, all right, let's see what you got. And I had an idea, and he was like, you know what? Try the diametric opposite of what you just did and see if that works. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did the opposite, and he's like, no, you know what? Go back to the opposite of what you just did again. And so I was doing this sort of seesaw, trying to find a tone for that character. And it wasn't, I wasn't that version of Castiel for very long, so I didn't feel like I ever totally really got it. It always felt like a little uncomfortable and it wasn't quite working. So maybe that. How's that? That was actually like a relatively honest answer. I feel dirty. Hi. There's a woman in the middle back left of the house who speaks in stereo. It's very strange.
Hello.
Hi.
My fiance and her friend are big fans of your cooking show with your son, and they're wondering why that hasn't been a big thing on your YouTube channel recently.
Sort of calling me out there, huh? I get it. All right. Okay, I'll do another one. My son has gotten a little bit self-conscious about the camera, so I might have to like hide my iPhone in a cupcake or something. Mom, why are you holding the cupcake like that? I just love it when the light catches the frosting. Maybe cupcake, for a number of reasons, is the wrong choice for that disguise. It's too small, so the iPhone would be sticking out of the sides of the cupcake. And it's very difficult to justify following somebody around with a cupcake. So, I should workshop that idea. How should we hide the phone? Get a GoPro. Also a camera, though. Not a terribly clever disguise. Although the GoPro kind of is an interesting idea because we could do like a 360-degree virtual reality experience where the viewer could be right there in the midst of the horrific travesty of cooking that's happening. What? Have him wear the camera. Oh, good idea, so that we can't see the subject of the film. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, you did not go to film school. Put it in a teddy bear. Okay, that's just getting creepy. So, this is sort of devolving into me having hidden cameras in my own home.
They're already there anyway.
A culture of fear between myself and my children. Why did you stop doing the cooking shows with your son? Well, because my children don't want to feel like they live in a surveillance state. Maybe I could just bribe them, though. I could just say, look guys, if you give me some good product here, I'll take you out for ice cream. That's not a bad idea. I have this thing where they, like, on camera, they're always eating Brussels sprouts and kale and stuff like that. I'm like, how do you get your kids to eat Brussels sprouts and kale? I tell them if they do that, off camera, if they do that, they get ice cream later. It's genius.
Make Mason do it.
Make Mason do it. Did you say make Mason do it? You are going to be a great mom someday. You are going to stand there and pretend you enjoy cooking with me. What? Oh, that is not a bad solution. Glasses with a hidden camera. Again, surveillance, kind of creepy, children family services kind of situation. Let's move on from this. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm really
really nervous because I think he asked my question, but I don't know.
Wait, that was your question?
I think I had to get it approved, so I don't know.
Wait, you don't know what your question was?
No, I know what my question was. My question was, is there going to be...
Wait, I want to get into this process a little bit more. So, your question had to be approved?
Yes.
How does it go? What's the approval process like?
I have
Is there
to
a
tell
lot of
him.
red tape? Oh, you tell him?
Yeah, and he approves.
Oh, really? You know that he has no authority over that, right? He's just some guy that likes people to tell him things in advance. He likes spoilers. He wants to know what the question is before it happens. Yeah, okay, so, but he did approve.
Yes.
Have you, sir, not approved many questions so far? No? You approved them, all of them? Yeah? Okay, they were good questions. Well, that's sort of a challenge then, for those of you in line. Try to get a question that does not get approved. I'd love to get that question. Maybe you would have, then, sir, you'd have to ask the question if it was an unapproved, officially unapproved question, right? I just want to know how this works. Okay, so your question, now officially approved, thank God, may have already been asked, but you don't know?
I couldn't hear him when he asked
Oh, you
his.
couldn't hear his question?
No, because I was talking to him.
Okay, well, his question was about how we can hide cameras in the toilets of our own homes. Is that the same thing you were going to ask about?
No.
Okay, then you're in the clear.
All right, I have to ask this question because I think my sister would get mad if I didn't. She wants to know what
There's
the
a lot of backstory to your question.
No, I'm sorry. She wants to know if there's going to be another Cooking Fast and Fresh with West. But yeah, that's what I figured it was the same question.
Can you refer to the past 5 minutes of discussion for an answer to your question? Would that work for you?
Yeah.
No, now you're sad. Okay, so what about this? Let's just wing it and ask an unapproved question right now, just quickly. That's on an unrelated topic because we did just definitely 100% deal with that question you just asked.
Now I'm nervous.
And weirdly, it was exactly the same question, by the way, because his question was my fiance,
Really?
like it was asking on behalf of somebody else because he was too guilty to admit that he wanted to know. Same thing that you're doing right now. So, what's just an impromptu, totally unapproved question? Go for it.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm starstruck. I don't.
You can do it.
I don't know.
Okay, shit. Sir, do you have a question? No. Somebody throw them a lifeline. How about this? What about the woman behind you in line? Maybe she can give you her question. Yeah. Quick. Save her. What color are my underwear? Orange. Always orange. I've now become like obsessively superstitious about underwear color, and my thinking is orange underwear are lucky. I don't know why, but it's like orange underwear are lucky, and okay, but I still have underwear that are not orange in my underwear drawer, and occasionally I'll pick them up and I'll be like, is there anything that and then the question I ask myself is today a day that I can afford to not be lucky? And the answer is never yes. So I always wear orange underwear. But I'm too, I don't know, cheap to throw out the non-orange underwear. If anyone needs, actually, you know what? I should just move on. If anyone needs some size large men's underwear that are non-orange, raise your hand and I will get your address and mail them. They are very gently used because they're not orange, so I don't actually wear them. We have some takers. Guys,
Go ahead, raise your hand, Krista.
Put your hand, out of self-respect, put your hands down. We're talking about used underwear.
You wouldn't believe it even if they raised my hand. I feel like, no, you don't.
Okay, we're trying to help this woman ask a question. Are you willing, would you be willing, this would be a tremendous act of generosity on your part, would you be willing to maybe share your question with her? Okay.
Her
her defense, it's really hard to hear right here.
It's hard to hear?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask how.
So does that mean everybody in line has not heard anything going on the whole time?
Well, it's been hard, but.
Okay. You didn't miss anything.
Did you get it?
I had a hard time with Crazy Cass. I liked Human Cass, and Cooking Fast and Fresh with West is espionage. That's the gist. Okay. Now that we're up to speed.
I was gonna ask how it feels knowing that Eric Kripke thought of you for Timeless just to kill
You're
you.
right. It is really hard to hear right here. I didn't hear what you just said. I'm gonna go back over here to the monitor.
Okay.
But how do you should you share this with her somehow?
What?
You have to share your question with her a little bit somehow. I'll take a fucking question. Okay. Let's do it.
Do you want to hear it from me?
I don't know. Just figure it out over there. You guys could share it somehow. What about this? What if she holds your iPhone while you ask the question? That'll feel a little bit more communal. Yeah. And also, are there any weird pictures on there? Okay, go. What's your question?
I was gonna ask what it was like. How did you feel knowing that Eric Kripke brought you onto Timeless just to kill you off?
How does it? You know, I have not